What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And yes, I have lost my goddamn mind because I am riding something like this. Now, I did do a previous video on this thing, commute to work, about 6 months ago or something like that. Ever since, I have been experimenting with owning one of these electric scooters, electric push scooters, and I want to see how it fits into my lifestyle and how it helps you out with everything that you need to accomplish, I don't know, in a working week, in a working month, or in a working year, as a man with a family and everything. And I gotta say, it's never gonna replace a conventional scooter. You know I love my scooters. But this thing has some advantages that a scooter just simply does not have. This is the Ausom Gx1. Looking at their website, they sent it to me about 6 months ago to test it out, to try it out. I think I have another one from them on the way. At least I'm hoping. That's what I discussed with them. But this is their most basic of models they had in the lineup about a year ago, and they sent it to test me. Now, it's not really full of bells and whistles, but it's a good starting point to get to know this kind of a vehicle. First of all, I'm gonna take you around it, show you exactly what it has in terms of features, and then we're gonna hit the road a little bit because I gotta get to an ATM so I can get some money out and then head back home over there. This is a perfect use case for something like this, running around just 2 or 3 kilometers away from home and doing whatever you need to do, getting it done in a more efficient way, instead of just pulling the scooter out of the parking lot. So, the Ausom Gx1, looking on their website, it's about $500, but currently it is out of stock, and I don't know if it's gonna be in stock again. But if, in case you find one second-hand, these are the features you can expect. The handlebar situation, you do have your front and rear brake. You do have a digital display right here, shows you your speed, your trip meter, a couple of buttons here. We can scroll through battery voltage. It's currently at 49.9 volts. It's not completely fully charged. Odometer, I have done 196 kilometers with it ever since I got it. So it's gotten some use, and I haven't done like testing rides. I've used it for in the past 6 months when I needed to use it, and I'll go through that while we ride, how I used it and how it got up to 196 kilometers. Your battery indicator here, as you ride, this goes down, especially when you ask for power from the battery. It's basically just a voltage indicator in the form of bars. This is the gear, or rather the power level. You can go from 1 to 2 to 3, and this is your speed, and this is your headlight indicator. Right here we have the NFC card. This is what you use to start the scoot with, the electric scoot with. Again, another voltage indicator right here. It's reading between 49 and 50. Grips, we got rubber grips. Here we have buttons for turn signal indicators for the left and for the right. They are self-canceling after about 7 or 8 seconds. There is no way to cancel them, as far as I know. These you opened up so you can fold the thing. You just unscrew this, and then, come on, and then, hard to do one-handed, you pull it out, and it folds like that, and then you clip it back into place, and you screw it back in. And also, you can undo this clip, and drop the handlebar down, and you just click it back in. And also, you can tug on this, pull it towards you, and the whole scooter folds, as you can see. But clip it back into place, put it on its side stand. Here we have the controls for the display. You can go through the menus. Now, this is limited to about 25 kilometers an hour. It's when it comes out of the box, it's on power level 48 out of 100. It's no longer on power level 48. This is turned up to the max. It does give a couple of errors every now and then when I want to set off from a dead stop. I weigh about 115 kilograms, so it does give a little bit of error. But again, I am pushing the engine, its electric motor, to the max, so it might have a bit of an over voltage error every now and then. But when I rode it in its regular power level, the way it's set up for a maximum speed of 25 kilometers an hour, nothing bad happened, no errors or anything. But let's keep on with it. The cables are nicely cable managed around here, good connectors, watertight connectors. Up front we got a huge light bar here. This gives ample visibility, plus 2 lights on each side. And here you can actually, this is where also the turn signal indicators live. And in the back we have our position lights, and if we hit the brakes they light up showing the brake, and also turn signal indicators are again right here. The floorboard has this anti-slip material on it. You can rest your feet also here, plus you can also grab it from here. We do get an electric motor on the back, no electric motor on the front. We do get dual drum brakes, okay? This thing comes with drum brakes. Now they are properly set up. I did set them up properly, and you know, they hold pretty well. Plus this thing has regenerative braking, and also here you have a horn, and that's about it. What can I say? It's a little electric push scooter, and it gets the job done. But let's get on the road and talk a little bit more. Now that I got you guys on the helmet, let's put our gloves on. Yes, I still ride this thing with gloves and a regular motorcycle open face helmet, because the noggin, she is a sensible. Side stand. All right, give it a push and we go. And honestly, it does have 0 start, so if I just get off it, you can see it starts. But like I've said, it's on its full power mode, so starting from a dead stop, it is a little bit difficult on the engine, stressful on the electric motor, so I tend to help it out, give it a bit of a push. And now, because I held the throttle open for more than 7 seconds, is currently went into cruise control mode, where it remembers the last throttle setting, which is max, and keeps it on for indefinitely, I guess. And you know what? I don't know if I could get telemetry on this thing. Let's see if I can get telemetry. What I'm gonna do is turn the phone on, turn the telemetry on the phone. Now, we're not gonna have OBD telemetry, but you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna leave the screen on. If a speedo pops up on the screen, then that means we have telemetry. If not, I don't know how torque works when it's not connected to an OBD adapter, if it logs anything or not. But we'll try, we'll see. Now in its fully unlocked mode, when it has a completely full battery, I have been able to get it up to 45 kilometers an hour. Normally it is limited to 25 kilometers an hour to make it compliant with all the rules and regulations here in Europe. But like I've said, I have been able to unlock it. It's very easy to unlock it. There are guides on YouTube on how to do it. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it, but there are definitely guides on how to do it. It's very easy, just a couple of buttons here, and you put it up to the max, and well, Bob's your uncle. Now it does say it does have a 750 watt electric motor, I think, and it does say that it should have a range of about 65 kilometers. Now granted, with my weight on it and having it fully unlocked, I don't think this thing is getting 75 kilometers. But I have been able, the furthest I've gone with it is about 18 kilometers on a single charge. And it wasn't out of juice, okay? So that's how much I had to do in that day, and I was able to do the mileage without any kind of issue, and I still had battery left. So I'm guessing somewhere around 25 to 30 kilometers with my weight and with it being fully unlocked. Now that might not seem like a lot of mileage on one battery, but again, this is not to replace your regular scooter. This is just something to have around the house, to run around when in case you need to go buy something quickly from the grocery store, which is 2 or 3 kilometers away, or like I am currently going to an ATM to get some money out because I need a bit of cash tomorrow. The ATM is about 3 kilometers away from my place, and yeah, well, I'll cross next to it. And honestly, I did not feel like taking the scoot out. You can see a lot of scoots running around, but for 3 kilometers I didn't feel like taking the scoot out, so I decided to take this thing. And it's a good opportunity to do a video on it. Ever since I got it, it has gotten a lot of this style of use, as in running around my apartment complex for shopping or anything like that. And also a second use case that I have found for it is whenever I have to take a car into service, I can just throw this thing into I can just throw this thing in the boot, in the trunk, well, however you wish to call it, in the luggage compartment of the car. You just fold it up, you throw it in, you go to where you need to take the car, you leave the car in for service, and then you just take this thing out of the trunk and you go to wherever you need to go, either to work or back home, wherever you need to go. So no longer do I need Ubers or use public transport for when I need to leave a car or even a bike. Like I have put this thing on the back of scooters, taking it to work when I had to leave, like take a scooter to work and then leave it there and come back basically on foot home. Why come back on foot? Just strap this thing to the back of a scoot, right to where you need to be, leave the scoot over there, and then just ride this thing back home. It's tremendous for that, and that is how it's gotten to almost 200 kilometers of usage in about 6 months. Like I've said, I haven't done any leisure riding with it. It was only out of necessity, and out of necessity I was able to do about 200 kilometers. And if you factor in like price for vehicles and time and stuff like that, I think as a regular person, let's leave this car, come on, let's let him pass. He has waited long enough. Let's be good Samaritans. I think in the grand scheme of things, if you buy one of these and keep it for a couple of years, you're gonna get your money's worth out of it. Plus, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Including I have taken it a couple of times. When I take Theo to the park with her bicycle, I just ride this thing and she follows me on her little bicycle, and I think the most we got in a day was like 13 kilometers of riding through the park. Now granted, for my weight, I should also be pedaling, but yeah, I'm a bit lazy, so yeah, I'm not pedaling. She can pedal. But again, that is another use case that you can use this thing for. I don't recommend putting a kid on it. There's basically very little room on it, and plus it is a little bit dangerous. The only place you could put a kid is up front, and if you hit something, well, that kid is basically becoming your crumple zone, and I don't think anybody wants to turn their child into a crumple zone. So yeah, I would highly not recommend putting a child on this thing and taking him to school or kindergarten. A scooter is for that if you really want to push your luck, like I am doing, but you're not going to see that on camera, me taking Theo to kindergarten on the scooter. Let's just say I'm saying it might happen or it could happen. I'm not saying it is happening. Now the laws on this thing are, oh, good brakes. The laws here on these things are a little bit iffy. It does say I'm not allowed to ride on the sidewalk, but if the thing is limited to 25 kilometers, I may be able to ride on the sidewalk. Currently, there's a law being passed for me to get insurance for it, which I agree. You should have insurance when you ride on something like this. But the law usually says I should be riding on the street. But drivers here are very impatient. Drivers, and when they see a vehicle limited 25 kilometers an hour, it's basically their antichrist. And here we are at ING, the ATM. Now I'm gonna go inside and get my money and then come back out, and we're gonna head home. Alright, money is in pocket. Let's hit the road again. Once again, like I've said, full motorcycle gloves. I am wearing my Odin MFG gloves. Full motorcycle gloves with protection and sliders and everything, because these things, they may look like kids' toys, but they can be quite dangerous. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, and we're gonna try a bit of riding on the road and see exactly in what kind of trouble we get. I do have my lights on, yes I do, and now these are just little streets between apartment buildings, so there's not going to be a lot of traffic on them, but still people can get anxious and impatient. But yeah, riding this thing through Romania, especially through Bucharest on the street, it's a good thing I took the limiter off and it's able to go up to 30, 35, 40 kilometers an hour, but that is still definitely not enough. And honestly, I wouldn't like, I know you can get these things that can go up to 100 kilometers an hour on these little 9-inch wheels. 100 kilometers an hour, honestly, I think it's, it's definitely interesting. Wouldn't necessarily want to see how it feels, because they are quite a little bit, as you can see, unstable. As soon as you whack the handlebars a little bit left and right, this little wheel just wants to turn, in whatever way it's pointing. And yeah, they can get a little bit of unstable. Plus, with the small wheels, any bump of a, I don't know, a little bit bigger size can just stop the thing in its tracks and you go flying. Use the regen. Speed bumps. But yeah, I've grown to really like it. Not necessarily as a replacement. Now, don't you guys worry. You clicked on a Ride with Alex video and there are no scooters, no motorcycles, no nothing. I am riding a little gay electric scooter, and yes, you can put your comments down below as to how gay I am or how gay I look on this thing, but honestly I do not care. This thing is not to replace a motorcycle. I'm not saying that an e-bike or an e-scooter can replace a motorcycle. And here we go, getting past right on a sidewalk where it's not allowed, because the driver really had to hurry to get to that red light up ahead and wait. But yeah, this is not replacing a scooter or a motorcycle, and I'm not saying it ever will replace a scooter or a motorcycle. Yeah, nobody passing. Let us get... See how impatient he was? He really had to hurry. And now we're just gonna get off the main road because honestly, I wanna live and I wanna survive today and get home in one piece. So like I was saying, it's not meant to replace. I'm not making this video telling you to replace. Plus, I'm not making this video saying buy an Ausom Gx1, but honestly, if you ever wanted to buy something like this, I can confirm it is a heck of a lot of fun, and plus it does have its use cases. It is a pretty specialized bit of kit, and if you live in a really big crowded city, and honestly if you want something to get to work and your work is up to 10 kilometers away, so a 20-kilometer round trip, something like this you can keep inside the house. You can charge inside the house. You don't need a fuel station. There's zero maintenance on it because it's fully electric, maybe a tire every now and then, and the brake pads or the brake shoes in my case having it fully set up on drum brakes. But that's about it. That's kind of all of the maintenance that it requires. And now it's gone on to cruise control. The battery is running kind of low, 44 volts. It is cold outside. It's like 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. And I am heavy, and we are currently running, it says 33 kilometers on the dash, on cruise control, on a bit of an uphill. And this is a street. Let's slow it down. I don't want cars to see me. All right. So it's got some punch to it, but definitely not enough to keep up with traffic, and definitely better than those things. It does have double swing arm suspension, both on the front and rear, which makes it a lot more comfortable than those rentable Lime e-scooters or Bolt e-scooters that you just saw on the side of the road. Those things have zero suspension. This thing with its suspension definitely is a lot more comfortable here on the bumps. You can even play with it around, make it jump. You can have quite a lot of fun with it. Will I be getting rid of it? I don't know, I'm not sure yet. Maybe if I get a better one, like keep that, test that, use that for the next 6 months or something like that. I don't know, I really want to get into these things. These and the e-bikes. I'm really curious for them. I've never owned an e-bike. I've barely ridden an e-bike every now and then. But I think they're an interesting segment for urban mobility. I'm not gonna do any big road trips on one of those or on one of these or something like that. But for urban mobility, there's just something special about them because they're so small, they're so compact. You can take them inside the house with you. One of these e-scooters you can throw in the trunk of a car. There's a lot of stuff you can do with them, and while some of you may live in big houses with big garages, all right, but some people live in very small apartments without any form of parking next to the apartment. So something like this does start to make sense, especially if your work is 5 or 6 kilometers away or 2 or 3 miles away, because I know in America it's very difficult to have your job and your house like 3 or 4 miles away from each other, but here in Europe it's actually fairly common. And one of these can free you from the hassle of owning a car and not having where to park it, or from the hassle of having to take the bus everywhere. Now, this is going to be interesting because the sidewalk is quite small. I should have been on the other side of the road. green light for the cars. We'll wait. All right, now is a good moment. Get on it, full throttle. Got out of the way. So like I said, it's not going to replace a motorcycle or a scooter, and I'm not saying it ever could. It's not the same as riding on a full motorcycle or a full scooter. But they are fun. I'm not gonna lie, I've had quite a lot of fun with it. It was a little bit iffy at first. I mean, when I first got on it, there was no way I could ride one-handed. The thing is just so sensitive to all of your movements. But as soon as you get used to it, after about 30 or 40 kilometers, I really got used to it. And I gotta say, I have a different respect for them now. And off we go. I think I have to leave the cars behind me. Yep, there he is. Right up my ass. We're just gonna stop. See, that's why it's so difficult to ride on the road with one of these. Oh, that guy is really slow, so we're gonna be even slower up ahead. Come on. The battery is definitely running a little bit low. I need to charge it. I think the cold is not helping. Another thing I noticed while riding this thing, and I got used to while riding this thing, you really have to treat them with respect, and you really have to ride them carefully, because the brakes on these things are not all that good. Now, you could say it's my particular model because it has full drum brakes, but honestly, I can lock up the brakes just fine, and the thing doesn't really like to stop. Especially in an emergency braking situation. I am signaling. Hold up, dude. Let's quickly pass up the hill. Oh, it's Achilles heel. Little 750 watt motor. I think that's like 1 horsepower. It is slow going up the hill. But like I was saying, the brakes on these things are not all that good. I will try to test out a model with disc brakes and see if that is any better. But I highly doubt it, because like I've said, I can lock up the wheels, and the thing doesn't really like to stop. And I think it's down to the weight and to the little 9-inch wheels and stuff like that. But if you are careful and if you look up ahead, and honestly, if you want to see visibility, there you have visibility. I mean, plus you are quite tall, you can see above cars, so there is basically no excuse to not looking up ahead. So if you look up ahead, then yeah, you should be more than capable of anticipating all kinds of problems and stopping in the correct amount of time without putting yourself in danger. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and yes, I will be testing out more electric scooters and electric bicycles, e-bikes, and if you don't want to watch those videos, then don't watch the videos. As of right now, this little thing is quite fun. I really enjoy it, and I'm gonna keep riding it and see what other things I can find in this fashion to ride and film, because they are part of urban mobility, and here in Europe they are actually quite important. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care out there, everyone, and ride safe. Bye.